Hello friends, today I am bringing you 2024 book stats and reading wrap-ups, and I'm gonna need you to ignore the fact that this video is about 5 months late.
Hello? Hello? Can anybody hear my voice? Anybody out there? Anybody hears me? Please respond.
I just realized last week that I somehow skipped over making these videos at the beginning of the year. There was a lot going on, fires, illness, a whole lot of stuff, but we're here now, and better late than never, hopefully. Also, hopefully you like stats and stupid numbers things and patterns and shit. Otherwise you might be very bored here, but I digress. I read 56 books last year, which according to Storygraph came out to 14,299 pages. Not as much as I would have liked, but considering I was sick half the year, I'm gonna let it slide. I also read less pages in 2024 than 2023 because I started my channel in 2024, and it turns out editing videos when you're brand new to video editing takes a long f***ing time. So anyways, chronologically, here are all the books that I read in 2024. In January, I read 13 books, books 2 through 9 of the Wayward Children series, plus the 3 novellas by Seanan McGuire, This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone, and Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. In February, I read 8 books, Dune by Frank Herbert, Mating in Captivity by Esther Perel, Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reed, The Rural Diaries by Hilary Burton Morgan, The Daughter of the Pirate King duology by Tricia Levenseller, and Wendy Darling by A.C. Wise. In March, I read 3 books, A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck, The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown, and The Butcher of the Forest by Primi Muhammad. In April, I only read 1 book because I started getting sick, and that was The Seep by Chana Porter. In May, I read 2 books, The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher, and Projections by S.E. Porter. In June, I read 6 books, The Book of Goose by Yi-Yun Lee, Fantastic Land by Mike Bakoven, Paradise by Fernanda Melchor, Crush by Richard Seiken, and the first 2 Throne of Glass books by Sarah J. Maas. In July, I read 3 books, Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth, The Woods All Black by Lee Mandello, and Open Throat by Henry Hoke. In August, I read 7 books, Heir of Fire by S.J. Maas, Upgrade by Blake Crouch, The Tusks of Extinction by Ray Naylor, An Excellent Host by Chelsea G. Summers, Miss Ice Sandwich by Miyako Kawakami, Kappa by Ryunosuke Akutagawa, and Teaching My Mother How to Give Birth by Warson Shire. In September, I read 6 books, Assassin's Blade and Queen of Shadows by S.J. Maas, The God of the Woods by Liz Moore, Kim Ji-young Born 1982 by Cho Nam-ju, The Steel Prince by V.E. Schwab, and A Wild Swan by Michael Cunningham. In October, I read 4 books, Chlorine by Jade Song, Coup de Grace by Sophia Ajram, The Night Guest by Hildur Knutsdottir, and Crypt of the Moon Spider by Nathan Ballingrud. In November, I read 0 books. Isn't that special? And in December, I read 3 books, Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn by S.J. Maas, and Monstrilio by Gerardo Samano Cordova. My top 5 moods were dark, adventurous, emotional, tense, and mysterious, which was almost exactly the same as the year before. 64% of the books I read were less than 300 pages. 27% were between 300 and 500 pages. 9% were over 500 pages. This is far different from 2023. I was reading a lot more short books, and I don't know what that says about me or what I'm supposed to glean from that, but it's what happened. 93% of the books I read were fiction and 7% were nonfiction, which I should probably work on. I think that needs to change a lot this year, in the second half of this year. For genres, 53.57% were fantasy, 16.07% were horror, 10.71% were sci-fi, 10.71% were general fiction, 3.57% were poetry, 1.79% was mystery thriller, 1.79% was self-help, and 1.79% was memoir. I also feel like I need to work on these. My most successful books overall are usually sci-fi books, so I don't know why I'm not reading more sci-fi actively. 59% of the books I read were standalones, and 41% were part of a series, which is almost identical to 2023. Out of my 56 books, 55% were written by authors that were new to me, and 45% were written by authors that I'd read from before. 20% were new releases, and 80% were released in sometime before 2024, with the earliest release being Kappa from 1927. And according to Goodreads, my shortest book was Skeleton Song at 32 pages, one of the short story novellas from Seanan McGuire, and my longest book was Empire of Storms with 720 pages, and my average book length overall was 258 pages. My average star rating for the year was 3.9, which I am not mad about at all. This, wherever you're seeing this is the actual spread of star ratings from 2024. I decided earlier this year that I'm no longer doing 0.25 or 0.75 book ratings because it gets too convoluted, so I've gone back and changed everything that was 0.25 or 0.75, but this is the spread. My overall rating for 2024 was a little bit lower than 2023, but I was also challenging myself to read other kinds of books, so it makes sense. And now we get to do our fun visual stats. And I'm going to follow the same categories that I did last year. Okay, battery change. Hopefully I'm in the same spot I was before, if not high. So visual stats. First, I looked at titles. The most commonly used word in all of the titles was in, which is boring. 4 titles had to do with food: butcher, ice, sandwich, juice, sugar. 5 titles had to do with time: midnight, night, dawn, time, moment. 6 titles had animals in them: goose, livestock, spider, starling, swan, siren, which is animal adjacent. It's animal enough. 16 titles had words pertaining to nature: dune, fire, forest, grass, fields, hollow, ice, juniper, thorn, moon, rain, sky, sticks, storms, thorn hedge, wild, woods, woods again. 17 titles had titles, or like general words you could use to refer to a person. Girls, daughter, king, daughter, queen, darling, butcher, crush, heir, host, guest, miss, mother, assassin, queen, god, prince, you. 8 titles had to do with body parts or things that could happen to a body: bones, shadows, skeleton, throat, tusks, sunburn, wounds, birth. And I again wanted to see if the titles of my books skewed more negative or positive. And for words with negative connotations, we had 22 instances: absent, assassin, beneath, butcher, captivity, coup, crush, crypt, down, drowned, extinction, fire, hell, hollow, lost, lose, war, mislaid, shadows, storms, sunburn, tumbling, down again, wounds. And for words with positive connotations, we only had 18 instances: teaching, give, birth, born, darling, dawn, dream, mating, erotic, intelligence, excellent, fantastic, found, grace, like, magic, mercy, open, song, sugar, upgrade, and wild. And interestingly enough, we had a few direct opposites, like hell versus paradise, birth versus extinction, captivity versus wild, fire versus ice. And then I looked at cover colors. 5 of the books were mostly red, 5 were mostly orange, 6 were a yellow brownish, 7 were greenish, 11 were blue, 3 were purple-ish, and 1 was mostly pink. 10 were mostly black, white, and gray, and 8 had too much of a color mush for me to put them in any one single category. And then I looked at the images on the covers to try to uncover some patterns. And if you made it this far, thank you for being here. I don't know how many people actually find something like this interesting, but I like watching it from other people. I like stats and things that maybe don't actually really matter. Anyways, cover images. Only 5 of the books had some kind of celestial attribute to them, suns or moons or stars, which is only a third of the celestial covered books I read the year before. 24 books had a person on the cover, and there are 2 books with eyeballs but no face, and 1 book with a face but no eyeballs. 20 books have animals on the cover, which includes 5 birds, a few sheep, a dinosaur, 2 snakes, a rat, a fox, a unicorn, a rabbit, a butterfly, 2 mermaids, a mountain lion, a dragon, a water dragon, a woolly mammoth, a deer, a spider, a horse, and some kind of a bat creature. And of those 20 animals, 5 of them are dead. 22 of the books had plants or other nature-based elements on them. 7 of the books have weapons of some sort. 3 of the books have blood on the cover, but only 1 is actually dripping blood, which means it's also included in the 3 books that have drips on the cover. Drips of wine, drips of blood, drips of paint. And in case you were wondering about my favorite covers, it's these ones. I still have not analyzed why these are my favorite ones, but they are. I like them. They're beautiful. And that's it. Short video time. Thank you for being with me as I obsessively categorize my books. And also, if you watched these videos last year, it was like the 3rd and 4th videos I ever made on this channel. The answer is yes. Soon upcoming will be my video tier ranking every movie that I watched last year. Last year, I was sick as hell while I was doing it, and I don't remember filming it. It was a bit of chaos, and now I'm doing it 5 months late. So that will be coming soon. Hopefully I think next. Probably next. Anyways, that's it. Thank you for being here. If you can hear me, if you can read the subtitles, I love you. I appreciate you. I hope I see you very soon. Bye.